Let's jump right in. Cambridge IT 9626, the TLS/SSL and Ipsec Exam Strategy Masterclass. Listen to this sentence because it trips up countless students right at the starting line.
TLS uses encryption to secure data sent over the internet so hackers cannot read it. Well, that seems like a perfectly logical, solid answer about encryption protocols, right? I mean, if you were sitting in the exam hall right now, sweating under the pressure of a ticking clock, you'd probably jot that down, feel pretty good about it, and just move on.
But here is the brutal trap. That answer actually scores 0 marks. Yep, an absolute 0 according to the Cambridge marks game. It might sound technically accurate on the surface, sure, but it completely misses the analytical depth and procedural rigor that examiners demand at the AS and A-level standard.
And guys, this is a massive issue. Topic 1.3 Encryption Protocols, specifically TLS, SSL, and Ipsec, makes up roughly 15% of your total marks in Paper 2 of Information Technology 9626. Literally 15%. Losing points on what feels like a simple definition can actually drop you an entire grade boundary. It's exactly why just brute force memorizing from a textbook completely fails you when you sit down for the real thing.
So why exactly are students bleeding these crucial marks? Well, the principal examiner reports consistently flag 3 fatal mistakes that just drag candidates' grades down year after year. Number 1, students constantly confuse cause and effect, like mixing up what triggers the initial TLS handshake versus what's going on during the actual secure session. Number 2, they completely forget to check their format and presentation, which, by the way, is heavily penalized. And third, they just spit out generic textbook definitions and totally ignore the specific context given in the exam prompt.
Now, in just a moment, I'm going to show you the hidden examiner clue that dictates your entire mark band and will honestly change your answer completely. But first, you absolutely need the structural framework that makes that specific clue incredibly obvious. Without this foundation, seeing the clue won't help you at all.
Section 1. The Method Mark Strategy. Securing marks through systematic processing.
Okay, so to dodge those fatal errors, examiners really want to see your procedural thinking. Cambridge actually demands a standardized 5-step sequence for technical methodology. First, you identify the key elements of the protocol. Second, you apply the relevant principles directly to the scenario. Third, you execute your analysis with totally clear working. Fourth, verify the results of that analysis. And finally, step 5, present your information in the appropriate format. Think proper headings, the right terminology, and super clear annotation.
The absolute game changer here is applying this sequence using the PLJ framework to really lock in those higher-order assessment objectives. PLJ stands for point, evidence, explanation, link, and a justified judgment. Using this forces your brain to stop just listing random facts and instead builds a comprehensive evidence-based argument, which, trust me, is exactly what examiners love to reward.
Section 2. Interactive Challenge. Applying PELJ to an unfamiliar context.
All right, let's turn up the heat a bit and apply this to a genuinely tricky Cambridge-style scenario. Imagine you see this. A company is migrating to Ipsec for remote workers. Evaluate the impact on data transmission speeds versus security. Just pause for a second. Mentally predict how you'd actually start constructing this answer. Are you just going to define Ipsec, or are you going to critically evaluate the trade-offs of this specific migration?
This perfectly illustrates how you've got to elevate your answer to hit that top mark band. A descriptive answer that just merely lists the features of Ipsec without any context, that leaves you stuck right in the lowest scoring band. An analytical answer is definitely better. It explains how Ipsec secures data, but also correctly identifies that the encryption overhead is going to slow down transmission speeds. But to reach that evaluative level, the holy grail, the top band, you have to actually weigh those alternatives against each other, compare the approaches, and justify a final recommendation for the company.
But wait, before you go formulating that final, brilliant judgment, keep this specific examiner warning from the reports in mind. Candidates consistently lose marks because they confuse key terminology in their extended responses. You absolutely have to define your terms before you use them. You must explicitly define what Ipsec actually is right at the beginning of your point before you dive headfirst into evaluating speed versus security.
Section 3. The Transformation. Flawed answer versus top band response.
Let's bring this all together and see how PLJ totally cures that painful mistake we looked at right at the start of this explainer. Our original zero-mark answer simply stated that TLS uses encryption. Boring, basic. But using the PLJ approach, it transforms into TLS establishes an encrypted link. Boom, that's a solid point. It uses asymmetric cryptography for the initial handshake. There is your hard evidence. You then explain that, technically, link it straight back to the specific context of the question and cap it off with a justified judgment. That structure right there is exactly how you secure maximum marks.
Section 4. The diagnostic cliffhanger. The threat of the hidden word.
So you now have the perfect PLJ structure to completely dominate topic 1.3. But there's one final, almost invisible trap waiting for you. What if your methodology is utterly flawless, but you still lose those top marks because of a single misunderstood word in the prompt? Seriously, if you don't instantly recognize the nuanced differences between command words like describe, analyze, and evaluate, even your perfect framework is going to cap out at a much lower grade boundary.
These command words are the hidden triggers that ultimately decide your fate in the exam room. The real question is, are you answering the question Cambridge actually asked, or just the one you thought they asked? To solve this exact problem and master those hidden triggers, you absolutely need to watch our next explainer on command words right now. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. See you in the next masterclass.